Thank you, Your Honor. We are present State of Ohio versus Roxan Mae Baker in case number 25 CR 513. We are here today for purposes of sentencing. We were last here on June 6th when the defendant pled guilty to count 1, illegal use of a minor or impaired person in a nudity-oriented material or performance, a felony of the 5th degree, and count 3, disseminating matter harmful to juveniles, a felony of the 5th degree as well. The court referred the defendant for a pre-sentence report and psychological evaluation.
All right, before we proceed with the sentencing hearing, I am required to advise Ms. Baker of what her obligations and duties will be to register as a sex offender upon any release from any incarceration. So I'm going to do that at this time. So Ms. Baker, I'm required to read to you this form here, which you're going to get a copy of, so I'm not expecting you to memorize what I'm telling you, but it's going to outline for you all your requirements. When I'm completed reading it to you, I will ask you to sign the document. Your signature is simply acknowledging that I read it to you and you understand it. It doesn't mean you agree with it necessarily, but it's just that you acknowledge I read it to you.
Legal Insight Audience Hook. Whoa, let's pause right there. 2 felony charges involving a minor? That's serious. And just so we're clear, a 5th-degree felony in Ohio isn't nothing. It's punishable by up to 12 months in prison. Keep that in mind as we move into sentencing. This is far from over.
And you understand this. All right, so if you have any questions, make sure you ask at that time. Before I get into that, I want to verify some information. Middle initials M. What does that stand for?
May.
M-A-Y?
M-A-E.
M-A-E. Sorry. And your expected residence address is 211 Maplewood Avenue in DeKalb, Illinois. What's the zip code there?
60115.
60115. And your phone number is 630-806-5491.
Yes, sir.
And social security number 325-785875. All right, I will begin at this time. You have pled guilty to a sexually oriented offense as defined in revised code section 295001, and you are hereby classified as a tier 1 sex offender. You will be required to register in person with the sheriff of the county in which you establish residency within 3 days of coming into that county, or if you are temporarily domiciled for more than 3 days. You're also required to register in person with the sheriff of the county in which you establish a place of education, if that's applicable, immediately upon coming into that county. If you establish a place of education in another state, but maintain a residence or temporary domicile in your home state, you will be required to register in person with the sheriff or other appropriate official in that other state immediately upon coming into that state. You're also required to register in person with the sheriff of the county in which you establish a place of employment if you've been employed for more than 3 days or for an aggregate or overall total of 14 days in any calendar year. If you establish a place of employment in another state but maintain your residence or temporary domicile in your home state, you will be required also to register in person with the sheriff or other appropriate official in that other state if you've been employed for more than 3 days or for an overall aggregate total of 14 days in a calendar year. Employment does include volunteer services.
You just heard it. Tier 1 sex offender classification. That's the lowest tier, but don't get it twisted, low doesn't mean light. She's now on a 15-year registry, and yes, that means yearly in-person check-ins with the sheriff. Think TSA is a hassle? Try this.
Now, you are required to provide to the sheriff any temporary lodging information, which includes address and length of stay if your absence will be for 7 days or more. After the date of your initial registration, you will be required to periodically verify your residence address, place of employment, and or place of education in person at the county sheriff's office no earlier than 10 days prior to your verification date. If you change residence address, place of employment, or place of education, if any that's applicable, you shall provide written notice of that change to the sheriff with whom you most recently registered and to the sheriff in the county in which you intend to reside or establish a place of employment and or place of education at least 20 days prior to any change and no later than 3 days after change of employment. If the resident's address changes not to a fixed address, you shall include a detailed description of the place or places you intend to stay, and no later than the end of the first business day immediately following the day you obtain a fixed address, you must register with the sheriff that fixed address. You are further advised in accordance with federal law that you must report any international travel to your registering authority no less than 21 days prior to travel. Failure to do so may subject you to criminal prosecution. You shall provide written notice within 3 days of any change in vehicle information, email addresses, internet identifiers, or telephone numbers registered to you or used by you to the sheriff with whom most have recently registered. Now, since you will be a Tier 1 offender, you will be required to comply with all the above described requirements for a period of 15 years with in-person verification annually, meaning once a year. Now, since your expected residence address stated above is in DeKalb, Illinois, or that's DeKalb County, actually, right? It's DeKalb County. You will register in person no later than 3 days after release from any incarceration with that county sheriff's office, which I believe is located at 700 West Lincoln Highway in DeKalb, Illinois. Now, your failure to register, failure to verify your residence at the specified times, or you fail to provide any notice of change in residence address or other required information will result in further additional criminal prosecution. You understand that? All right, do you have any questions for me regarding these responsibilities or requirements that you're going to be obligated to follow? All right, then I'm going to hand you at this time, Caleb will hand it to you, the form I just read to you. On line 11, it reads, I acknowledge that the above requirements have been explained to me and that I must abide by all the provisions of the Ohio Revised Code, Chapter 2950, which is the section of our revised code that sets forth those what I just read to you. So I'm going to ask you to place your signature.
Did you catch that shift? This isn't just courtroom strategy, it's a desperate human moment. Her attorneys painting her as scared, remorseful, and totally out of her depth. So here's the question. Do you think fear and first-time status should factor into sentencing for a sex offense?
Signature on line 11. It's already got the date in there, which is today's date, July 7th. But again, this is back, or you just sign the document that it just been handed back to me. I am going to place my signature now on line 12, which reads that I specifically inform the offender of her duties as set forth above, and she indicated to me an understanding of those duties. Just my signature, and then I'll give this back to the bailiff. I'm going to ask that you make 1, 2, 3 copies of this, 4 copies of it, and we'll get your copy before the end of the hearing. All right, with that matter having been addressed, Ms. Tomazik, is there any reason we should not proceed to sentencing?
Your Honor, we're prepared to proceed with sentencing.
Is there anything you want to say on behalf of your client?
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. We'd like to ask the court today to allow Ms. Becker a chance on community control sanctions. Speaking of Ms. Becker, she has no criminal history. She doesn't even have a traffic offense. This is her first time ever being in trouble. Ms. Becker and I have had many conversations. It's clear to me that she, throughout this entire process, has been very scared. Based on my conversations initially, it took her some time to fully understand the severity of these charges. It took some time to build up rapport because, like I said, she's never in this situation before. So it did take some time for her to build that rapport with me and be able to admit what happened and understand the severity of it. I think she is still having a little bit of a difficult time with it. Her entire support system is in Illinois, so if Your Honor would allow her community control, we would ask for it to be transferred to Illinois to her hometown. And speaking with Ms. Badker, every time I've seen her or talked to her in jail, she's been very upset. I think she has a much better understanding now of how severe her consequences can actually be. She knows she lost her job. Her main priority is to find a new job and get home to her kids, to be a support system for her kids. Her 14-year-old son, Ms. Becker is the only parental figure in his life. She does live with her friend Rebecca and one of the other kids' fathers, but overall with the parent, Ms. Becker is the only parent for her 14-year-old. I've received letters from her family and some of her close friends. I could forward those to the court. They describe Ms. Backer as a person who's willing to help others as best she can and to advocate for others any chance she gets. They describe her as a loving mother and friend and willing to do anything for anybody. So we would just like to ask to allow Ms. Backer a chance in community control. She's fully, at least with me, she is fully aware how serious her conduct is. And like I said, I think she's just had a very difficult time with this because she's never been in this situation before, so she has a hard time building that rapport with others and admitting to what has happened here. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Backer, you have the right to address this court before your sentence. You can say anything you want. Is there anything you want to say at this time?
I'm sorry for what I did.
What'd you do?
I sent inappropriate photos to an underage child. I'm sorry for what I did. Am I allowed to address his mother?
Sorry?
Am I allowed to address his mother?
You can say whatever you want to say.
Kelly, I'm sorry. I can't.
And there it is, the gut punch moment. The judge flips the lens. What if someone did this to your 14-year-old? This isn't just sentencing, it's a reckoning. Drop a comment below. Does her apology land for you, or does this cross a line no apology can fix?
I can't take back anything. I apologize for the things that I did. All I can do is be a better person. I'm sorry. I know that doesn't change anything, but I apologize to you, and I'm not mad at you for what you did. I'm sorry. I would like to go home to my children. You hold my life in your hands. I'm petrified. I don't want to go to prison. I've never been in trouble. I will do whatever you ask me to do. You want me to do backflips in my backyard? I will do that. I don't care. Whatever you ask me to do, Mr. Carter, I will do. Just give me a chance, please. I have a 6-year-old, an 8-year-old, and a 14-year-old.
A 14-year-old, right?
Yes.
Same age as the boy involved here.
I know.
What if someone is doing what you did, this 14-year-old boy to your 14-year-old boy?
I'm sorry.
What if there was some 44-year-old woman who
I
was
know.
engaging in conduct that you engaged in with your 14-year-old boy?
I know, and I don't.
You know what?
I know what I did was wrong. They did a no contact order, and I put it behind me over
There
a year
shouldn't be a
ago.
need for a no contact order.
I understand that, sir.
You drove in from Chicago, or Illinois, wherever DeKalb is, to meet with a 14-year-old boy. Now you deny all that. This is all because you were being a good mother and you were bringing your son to visit with this boy that he met online, and you're just being a good chaperone mother to watch over them. You didn't admit that the reason you came into town was so that your son can.
My son was friends with him.
That's the reason you came into town.
So whatever reason did I have, I had no
For
intention.
you to maybe meet up with the 14-year-old boy? You didn't.
I saw him, obviously.
You weren't alone together with him?
No, we were all together.
You didn't walk in the woods with him? This is all video.
Okay.
You can say whatever you want to say.
Okay.
Now, you haven't been forthright or honest or open since at all with probation. I'm not going to sit here and argue with your debate with you. Is there anything else you'd like to say? Ms. Tomazik, anything else?
Nothing further, Your Honor. Thank you.
Ms. Celestia for the state?
Just one moment, Your Honor. Your Honor, prior to addressing the court, the victim's mother is here and would like to speak.
Okay, sure. I did receive your victim impact statement. I've read that, but you're certainly permitted and welcome to speak here in open court as well. So take your time and say what you'd like to know.
Thank you, Your Honor. I just want to say that these past several months have been hell for my family. I see the defendant crying and saying, like,